Welcome back. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right? You're working hard, you're showing up, you're pushing yourself, doing what you thought you were supposed to do. And then something started to shift. Your energy dropped, your motivation faded, and your body started sending signals. Maybe at first, tightness, fatigue, irritation, maybe even pain. That feeling where even the things you used to love started to feel heavy. And you sit there wondering, what is wrong with me? What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if the real problem is this? You're trying to perform at a high level without giving your body, your mind, and your life what it needs to recover. Because here's the truth that no one teaches high performers. You're not breaking down because you're doing too much. You're breaking down because you're not recovering enough to support how much you're doing. And I know this because I've lived it. I've been in those seasons where I was pushing so hard, training, working, showing up. Like right now, of course, I'm training for a marathon. I'm working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm recording podcast episodes, writing them, like recording reels, releasing them every day. I am doing all the things. And yet, I started to feel off recently. Not really injured, but some hip pain. Pretty close. Not completely burned out, but like starting to get there. Pretty tired. And of course, my instinct was just keep going. Like, this is going to change. Like, keep on going. This is going to change. Keep on pushing. Do a little more. Work better. Don't slow down. You got to go. Like, this is going to change. Because somewhere along the way, I think I learned that slowing down means falling behind sometime in my life. And then, of course, my hamstring decides to tighten up on a long run. And then I start to get vertigo when I'm cross training because my hamstring tightened up. I think I was wrong about this idea of falling behind. It wasn't what I need was less effort. What I need right now was better recovery. And the moment that clicked, everything changed. So let's break it down because this is how it's been for a very long time. Most people get trapped, not because they lack discipline, but because they were taught a broken model. And the old conversation was always overwork. We've all heard it. Don't overtrain. Be careful you don't burn out. Maybe you should take a break. And that does sound helpful in a sense, but it creates a problem because it frames effort, like hard effort, as dangerous, and it creates fear. And high performers, they don't respond well to fear. They honestly do not want to hear do less. They don't want to hear rest. That's lazy. Like, they don't want, all they can think is slowing down, resting, not pushing so hard is passive. And these are human beings that are incredibly active. So what they probably want to hear over that is, how do I do more, but sustainably? And there is an identity conflict here because this is where it gets deeper. If you're someone who prides themselves on discipline, on work ethic, on pushing through, then recovery, it feels like a threat. Because in your mind, rest equals lazy, slowing down equals weak, taking time equals falling behind, and everybody else is out there doing all the things. And if I stop, they're going to win, and I'm never going to catch up. So what do? Well, you they start ignoring signals. They start ignoring and overriding fatigue. You keep pushing through. And for a while, hey, it works because we can push through things. We have amazingly resilient bodies that are really capable of going for it. But it only works until it doesn't. And then you come up against a reality that you don't want to face. Kind of where I am right now, 2 weeks out of a marathon. Still have a little vertigo. Very, very sore hip and high hamstring. Not able to continue getting in quality work. Wondering if I'm going to make it through my marathon. Now, there's kind of a binary trap here because most people think of extremes, right? Push or stop, work or rest, go hard or do nothing. It's like completely binary. It's like this or that, on or off. But I don't believe that's how high performance works. Not in sport, not in life. Because real performance lives in the middle, in the balance, in the relationship between load and recovery. And you've probably seen this at times, maybe when you're younger. Maybe you had a way of understanding that, like, when things start to get really rough and painful, then maybe you're going to switch to cross training. Or maybe you're going to shift a run onto another day, or maybe you're going to add in a recovery day. See, the truth is there is an invisible cost to under recover. And that's the thing. We're not looking anymore that, like, overwork is the cause of injury. We're looking at undercover actually being the cause of injury. And this is the part that most people miss. Under recovery doesn't always show up immediately as injury. At first, it's subtle. You feel a little bit more tired than usual. You might be a little bit more sensitive or get irritated faster. You have trouble with focus. Your workouts start to feel exponentially harder. Your work starts to feel so much heavier. Then slowly, at first, your performance plateaus. But at the same time, your motivation starts to fade, right? And eventually, you hit a wall. And it has nothing to do with you being weak. It has everything to do with your system being overloaded. And there's a core truth here. Most people don't avoid recovery because they don't understand it. They avoid it because it doesn't match who they believe they need to be in order to succeed. It's just a mismatch. It seems like an unalignment. And that's what we want to change here today. We want to reframe it and look at it from a different point of view. So what is the reframe? Recovery is not what you do when you're broken. It is not reactive. Recovery is proactive. It is what allows you to perform at your best. You don't earn recovery after work. You build recovery actively into your routine. so you can sustain the work at incredibly high levels. And then you balance the recovery with your load. The true performance equation is high output requires high recovery. Not optional, non-negotiable. You cannot separate the two. Because if you do, there's consequences. And they're not immediately. But they can be really hard to deal with if you get down that line. So let's talk about what are the 6 pillars of maximizing recovery, just so we can make this real. Make it actionable, make it proactive, make it active, and something you can actually apply. Honestly, the number one recovery tool is sleep, and sleep is a performance tool. It literally is. And honestly, all your adaptation happens at rest. All the all the little cells, the hormones that are released to rebuild your body happen during sleep. Maybe some happen all the time, but like the majority, the big load of them are going to happen at rest. And sleep is not passive. Sleep is active recovery. This is where your body repairs. It's where your brain resets. And it's exactly like I said, it's where adaptation happens. If your sleep is inconsistent over a long period of time, and this is not something to be in incredible fear of, this is something to get proactive around. But if your sleep stays consistent over long periods of time because you're not maximizing it, because you're not making it a priority, your performance will lose too. So protect it. Same bedtime, same wake up time. Create a wind down routine. Treat sleep like training because it actually is. Sleep is vitally important. And this is not a fear equation. It's just something to build on, something to make. Creating a routine around going to bed, creating time, getting up at the same time. Incredibly important. Number 2, nutrition as fuel and repair. Honestly, it's impossible to perform without adequate fuel. And you can't recover without proper nutrients. Undereating, poor timing, low hydration. All this is going to limit your ability to adapt. Because food is not just energy, it's recovery. And this is where you get the assistance of somebody who's expertly trained. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you need a team. And this is why you go and find, if you're an athlete, a registered dietitian who has training around sport. Because it's not just about getting an X number of calories per day. It's about the timing of what you eat and when. What do you eat before and how long before you perform, and what you take immediately after. And if it's like an endurance thing, how much you take during, and you practice that. Like making sure you're getting the right quantity of protein so your body can build. And the best people to talk to that is somebody who's highly educated. Number 3, active body care. And, it's funny. A lot of people kind of skip this. But if you see the top people, this is part of the routine. And they're going to go out and they're going to find people to help them figure out what's right. So it's mobility, strength work, rolling, stretching. This is all active self-care, right? And you can find yourself a physiotherapist or a strength and conditioning person, and you can help them get them to set you up a routine. Like myself, I'll go and see a physiotherapist and I'll bring my phone and I'll get them to videotape me as they're walking me through the exercise, giving me corrections, and then I'll take that to the gym with me and I'll play the video with headphones on and I'll take the corrections as I'm doing it. And I'll do it over and over again till I get it. And I get them to show me strength routines that are specific to what I'm trying to do in my life and mobility routines to help me move properly. And it's funny how some people see this as optional, but it's really not. It is actual maintenance and preparation. Because if you want your body to perform, you have to take care of it. Not just after something goes wrong, but before something goes wrong. Now, number 4, if you want to be extraordinary in any aspect of life, sport or whatever, you need to build a support team. Honestly, if you want to be the top, all the best are out there doing this. Think about it. This is maximizing recovery, building a team. You don't wait until you're injured. Like, don't just be reactive. You work proactively. You have a physio, massage therapist, you got coach, you've got dietitian, you've got strength and conditioning, you got mental performance. These are not luxuries. These are performance tools. Everybody out there at the top is doing all the things. It's all about 1 more percent, 1 more percent. Number 5, mental and emotional recovery. Listen, your mind needs recovery too. The constant pressure, constant output, constant thing. You need ways to reframe. You need ways to look at things differently. All this can drain you. You need to have space for reflection, stillness, support, because mental fatigue and mental performance needs help. Mental fatigue will become physical fatigue. If you want to be the best, the top, you need to have people in your corner, like mental performance, sports psychologist, counseling, also meditation, all these mindfulness, all these things are going to help you maximize your recovery. Because why wait till things have fallen apart? Why not be proactive? And the final, and one of the most important things I've ever thought about and that I do for myself is you got to consider life beyond your performance. And this is incredibly powerful. Recovery is not just about stopping, it's about expanding, spending time with people. So you need connection, having creative outlets, doing things that bring you joy, connecting with people. This is going to restore your energy in a different way. And that energy, it feeds your performance. I remember years and years ago, I asked one of my athletes, what do they have outside of their sport? And it's funny, at the time, pretty much all I had in my life was my work. And they said, what do you have besides work, Kimen? And I'm like, oh, touche, you're right. I am a hypocrite. And that's when I bought a camera and started taking pictures at races and stuff. So you can find some kind of a creative outlet outside. And it doesn't have to be taking pictures. Of course, now I have my podcast and I have my reels and so I have more than I've ever had in my life. The truth is, you don't recover to stop. You recover so you can go further. Because the goal is not to do less. The goal is to become someone who can handle more without breaking, handle more without slowing down. So let's bring this home. You're not weak for needing recovery. You're actually underperforming without it. Everybody is doing all the work. They're doing all the running, all the kilometers, all the workouts. But if you want to have a leg up on them, you need to maximize recovery. Because recovery is not rest, it's strategy. It's a foundation for everything you're trying to build. So here we go. This week, I want you to do one thing. Identifying where you are under recovering in some place in your life. Is it sleep? Is it nutrition? Is it self-care? Is it your mental space? Pick one. Only one this week. Just one. And improve it. And you don't have to improve it perfectly. You just have to intentionally try. Take one step in the proper direction. In closing, the strongest people you will ever meet are not the ones who push themselves the hardest every day. They are the ones that understand balance, who respect their limits so they can expand them. Because when you maximize your recovery, you don't just avoid breaking down, you unlock a version of yourself that can go further, can stay longer, and perform at a level that most people will never reach. So train hard, but recover harder, and build a life that can sustain both. Recovery is not stepping back. It's stepping yourself up to go further. Thanks for joining me again. Keep on working on maximizing recovery and building your own inner advocate.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Inner Advocate, a podcast by Kimen Petersen, formerly Conversations with Kimen. If you found value in today's episode, please follow, like, and share the podcast with someone who you think may benefit from it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and connect on Instagram at your_inner_advocate. Until next time, keep listening to and developing your inner advocate.